Hi, I'm Mimi, and I promised in my daily horoscope today that I would read a passage, one of my favorite passages, from one of my favorite books, The Magdalen by Bonnie Jones Reynolds. And in this passage of the book, Mary Magdalene, who is also known as Merovi in this book, is being healed, going through a release of her demons. And I think that in this energy, we're going through major release. And in the horoscope, it called for deep internal presence with yourself. And personally, this passage in this book was one of the most healing passages I've ever read. I bawled my way through it multiple times, and I come back to it over and over and over when I feel like I need it. So I'm sharing it with you in hopes that it helps you through your release in this potent energy, and again, as we move on and through and into the next cycle of things, to keep peeling off the layers and knowing yourself and loving yourself on deeper and deeper levels. So I'm going to start right here. And again, Merovi is Mary Magdalene. He held out a hand. "Come to me, Merovi." It seemed to Merovi that life and breath turned still within her. "Come to me. I will drive out any demonic thing that may be lurking inside you. I will do so in front of the whole company so that they can never again wonder about you." "Oh, Jesus, do not hurt her," cried Salome. The ghost of a smile touched his lips. "How could you think I would ever hurt her? Come, beloved disciple." As in a dream, Merovi rose, touched a hand of comfort to Rosula and her mother, and crossed the room to stand before him. "Be careful of the baby," she murmured, gazing trustingly into his eyes. "Kneel down," he said, "for your legs will give way." Obediently she knelt and lowered her head. Her heart beat fast now, but her body was cold, so cold, and she had no breath. She felt warmth then. His hands encapped her head. He was silent a moment, then he spoke. "Yes, the vision of Simon Yeshua was correct. This woman has demons within her, though he, poor soul, cannot begin to understand what demons they are." Merovi thought she was beginning to sway. She trusted to his hands to hold her upright. "They are not demons of the common herd. This woman is not a student. She is a master. Her demons are more powerful, more fearsome than most of you here can imagine. I will now remove them." There was a moment of silence. Then suddenly his hands lifted and quickly descended, his fingers gripping like a vice. Fear to know self. Release. She thought the floor was opening up. She tried to send herself upwards into her head so that his hands would hold her and she would not fall through. His hands lifted again and she cried out. Her mind clung to those hands as they redescended. Fear to love self. Release. She was not cold anymore. Perspiration burst from her pores and flowed like a river. She had the insane thought that she would drown. His hands lifted again. "Do not leave me," she screamed. Fear to know others. Release. Merovi shrank down, sobbing. She seemed suddenly to be made of nothing but water. "Oh," she moaned as his hands lifted again, and she waited only for their return. Fear to love others. Release. She thought that she was laughing. She suddenly saw herself, and she was a laughing puddle of water. It made her laugh all the more. Fear to know and speak truth. Release. Why did he keep leaving her? Come back. Fear to know the true God, all that is. Release. She was jerking. All her bits were leaping about, trying to go in all directions at once, even inward. Inward! What if she could not find her way out again? But there he was. Fear to trust your universe completely. Release. He had tricked her. It was terrible. Some power, some awful energy. It raced in through the fingers of her left hand. It surged up her arm and commenced to whirl round and round in her trunk. And it did hurt. It was ripping her heart and insides to pieces. There was no way to move, no place to escape. No, she could not even think. She opened her mouth, but she had to get that terrible energy out some way. Out! She heard a shriek. It rose. It was going to split her head wide open, and then it did, and she burst outward and inward in all directions, into the void, filled with nothing but silky blackness, and a voice like a campfire in the darkness. "Allow," it said, and she floated towards it. Jesus caught her, and she slumped downward. Deborah was quick to her side, feeling her pulse. pulse. Lazarus was behind his mother, eyes wide and frightened. "She is fine, trust me," Jesus told them. But then he looked up at Petros, and the fury returned to his voice. "Are you satisfied now, Simon Bar-Jonah? Have you seen the demon driven out of this woman?" Petros was white-faced in a circle of equally white faces. "Yes, Lord." "Call me not Lord," cried Jesus. And if you want more, you're going to have to read the book. But I hope that for you is as powerful as it's been for me in helping release, again, in this energy and in the future, to know ourselves even more completely. And if you want more, this book is incredible. I can't tell you how many pages I have folded down through this book. It's The Magdalen by Bonnie Jones Reynolds, and it is a life changer. So that's it for today. Enjoy that little reading moment, and go check out the horoscope for more. Namaste.